Welcome, yogis. Elizabeth Scala here from Living Sublimely Well. And welcome to my bedroom area. Nice, intimate, private setting here. The reason we're going to be doing yoga here, right at the bed, which I would recommend you do for this particular practice, is we had a special request for some yoga postures before going to sleep, so that's what we're going to do. This practice, this short session, is meant to help you prepare for and ease peacefully into a beautiful, restful night's sleep. So you'll want to get your yoga mat. You might want one block. Yes, I would like if you have one block handy or something similar, if even just some kind of box or something that you can. We're going to do one pose where we'll use the yoga block, so hopefully finding something of that nature. If you don't have one, that's okay, maybe a pillow even. And, you know, as I said, being that we're somewhat getting ready for a night's sleep, you might even want to do this yoga practice close to where you do reside at night, where you rest in your bed. So before we begin, very quickly, some medical disclaimers. I am not your healthcare professional. I am not your medical professional. I cannot see you through the screen. You can only see me. So honor your body. Follow any restrictions or limitations that have been placed upon you if you have those. Only do what feels comfortable. If you feel any sharp, shooting, awful, intense pain, back out of whatever we're doing. Breathe quietly, wait for the next pose. And yeah, we shall begin. So we're only going to do a couple of postures here. As I said, this is a calming yoga practice, an abbreviated yoga practice to prepare for a restful sleep. So the first thing we'll do right off the bat, though, is swing around to hands and knees, bringing your knees about hip-width distance apart. The tops of the feet are flat to the mat. The fingers are spread wide, palms under shoulders, and your gaze is down between the hands. So you have a nice flat back, a nice neutral spine, finding what's called tabletop pose. And from here, we'll do a few rounds of cat-cow. So go ahead and inhale the tail, drop the belly, slide the shoulders back, look upwards. Exhale to tuck the tail, round through the spine, bring the chin to the chest. Inhale, lift the tail, drop the belly, slide the shoulders down, look up. Exhale, tuck the tail, round the back, bring the chin to the chest. Inhale to lift the tail, arch through the low back. Exhale to tuck the tail, rounding through the spine. Inhale, lift the tail, arch the low back. Exhale, tuck the tail, round through the spine. Inhale, up to cow, arching through the back. Exhale, round to cat, rounding the spine. One more. Inhaling, lift the tail, drop the belly. Exhale, tucking tail, rounding through the back. From here, let's come back to tabletop, that nice flat back, the nice neutral spine. Gaze down between the hands. Let's send the knees mat width distance apart. Bring the big toes to touch behind you. Sit the hips towards the heels. Drape the belly, the chest, the forehead to the mat. Reach the arms overhead with fingers spread wide, finding child's pose. Nice deep breaths here, breathing into the side and back body, expanding through the ribs, pushing the tail towards the feet while the fingers reach overhead. Nice long spine, deep breaths into the back body. And with the inhale, lifting back up to tabletop, sliding the knees under the hips, the hands under the shoulders. And we're going to gently lower down to the forearms, lower the hips to the floor, lower all the way onto the belly, lying on your belly with the arms overhead. You can come to one side of the head, resting the cheek and the head on the side of the mat. Elbows are bent, palms facing the floor. Let the heels flop wider than the toes, so somewhat pigeon-toed. Notice all the touch points on the front body, the backs of the feet, the fronts of the legs, the hips, the belly, the chest. And from here, we're going to lift the head and hover the face several inches from the mat. So you're looking down at your mat. Draw the crown of the head out. Pull the head out from the neck and shoulders, and then lift the head up, sliding onto the forearms. The arms are about shoulder width distance apart. Pressing the palms into the mat. Pressing the forearms into the mat. Lifting the crown of the head to the ceiling, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, stretching across the front body, pressing the hips to the floor, pressing the tops of the feet to the floor. Nice deep breaths here in Sphinx pose. Beautiful job. So go ahead and let the elbows start sliding out, lowering down on the ribs, lowering on the chest, lowering onto the side of the face. And let's go ahead and we're going to turn over, lying onto our back body now. This is where we'll use the block. So if you can find your block, get your block handy, or maybe a pillow or a cushion. Let's go ahead and bend both knees, bringing both feet to the mat. Keeping the feet pressed together, the legs pressed together, the knees and inner thighs are nice and close together. We'll walk the feet and the heels as close as you can towards your bottom, towards your rear end. We'll take the block in one hand, press into the feet, lift the hips and the tail, and scooch that block right underneath the base of the spine. So the block is not under the hips, it's not under the low back, it's under that bony prominence that's at the tail of the bottom of the spine, your tailbone. And then rest the tailbone on the block, keeping the legs nice and tight. The knees are close together, the feet are together. The hands can be on your belly, on your hips, or maybe out to the sides. Breathing deeply here in the supported bridge pose. Nice deep breaths. Relax the jaw muscles, release the shoulders. No tension in the neck or the back. Nice deep breaths. And then press into the feet, lifting the tail. Scooch that block out from underneath the back. Lower the middle back, the low back, and slowly lower the tail to the mat. Pressing the low back into the mat. Lift the feet off the mat, hugging the arms either around the thighs or the shins. And take a gentle rock with the legs from side to side, Massaging the low back, massaging the low part of the tail, the middle back. Just a nice gentle roll from left to right. And we'll go ahead and bring the legs to stillness, back in the center. Release the hands and the arms, let the feet float to the mat. And this time we'll take the feet and the legs about hip-width distance apart, so some space between the legs. Let's lift the left foot towards the ceiling, extend the left leg long, and then bend the left knee out to the left side so the outside of your left ankle is coming to the upper part of the right thigh. From here, we're going to lift the right foot off the mat and clasp the hands behind the right thigh, pulling with the hands, drawing that right thigh inwards towards the belly, finding reclined pigeon pose. Relax the face. Relax the shoulders, relax the neck, breathing deeply into the stretch. Nice deep breaths here, right into the physical body. Exhaling to release tension, relax the muscles. And then release the hands, letting that right foot float gently down to the mat. Let's lift the left foot and bring the left thigh onto the right thigh. So the left foot is dangling on the right side. It's as if you're sitting cross-legged in a chair. Press into the right foot, lifting the tail, and scooch onto your right hip, letting both knees fall to the right side. Let's open the arms so they're perpendicular to the body. The arms are at shoulder height, flat on the floor. Make sure your left shoulder is still in contact with the mat. And then the gaze is either upwards at the ceiling or looking towards the left hand in the spinal twist. Breathing deeply here, inhaling to the base of the spine, exhaling to the crown of the head. Nice, steady, slow breaths. And let's turn the gaze to the ceiling, tighten through the belly, use the core strength to draw the knees back up to the ceiling, lower the arms to the side, press the right foot into the mat and lift the rear end, lift the tail, scooching back onto the flatness of your back. Lift the left foot to the ceiling, extend the left leg long, and then bend the left knee to bring the left foot to the mat. Check in that you feel the back of the head, the backs of the shoulders, the full length of the back. The feet and legs are hip-width distance apart. And then let's extend the right foot to the ceiling, lengthening that right leg long. And then bend the right knee out to the right side so the outside of the right ankle comes to the upper part of the left thigh. From here, we'll lift the left foot off the mat, clasping the hands behind the left thigh, and then pulling with the hands, drawing that left thigh inwards towards the belly. Inhaling right into the stretch. Exhale, relax tension, release the muscles, letting go. And then release the hands. Let that left foot float gently back to the mat. Lift the right foot towards the ceiling, extending the right leg long. And then bring the right thigh over the left thigh, letting that right foot dangle on the left side. Press the left foot into the mat, lifting the rear end, lifting the tail, and scooch on to the left hip, letting both knees and both legs fall towards the left side of the mat. We'll take the arms out to the sides at the shoulder height, arms flat to the floor. Breathing deeply here in this stretch. Make sure that the right shoulder is still in contact with the floor. If the right shoulder's lifted up, you need to back out of that spinal twist a little bit with the legs. And you can gaze upwards at the ceiling or towards the right hand. Nice and steady breaths, inhaling to the base of the spine. Exhaling all the way to the top of the head. And gazing back up to the ceiling, tightening through the belly, using the core strength to draw those knees back up to the ceiling, lowering the hands and the arms to our sides, pressing into the left foot, and scooching back onto the flatness of the tail, the full length of the back. Lifting the right foot towards the ceiling, and then bending the right knee, bringing both feet to the mat. The last move we'll take here is called Happy Baby. So let's lift the feet off the mat. Bring the knees wider than the hips, wider than the shoulders. A nice deep bend in the knees. Bringing the feet towards the ceiling, so the feet are up in the air. The feet are parallel to the ceiling as if they're dancing on the ceiling. A nice deep bend through the knees, 90-degree bend through the knees. And then the arms can come to the inner thighs, the inner shins, the inner ankles, or maybe all the way up to the insteps of the feet. Opening the knees wide, wider than the hips, nice deep bend through the knees. Let there be a soft sway on the upper back. Feeling that innocence of a child, that playfulness of a happy baby. And then we'll release the hands, let the feet start gradually floating towards the mat. And we'll prepare for Shavasana, which you could do on the floor or maybe even in your bed for the night's rest. So extending the legs long, letting the pinky toes flop open to the corners of the mat. Lifting at the waist to tuck the tail, lifting at the shoulders, slide the shoulders away from the ears, letting the arms open away from the body with the palms facing the ceiling, or alternatively resting a hand on the belly, a hand on the hips, whatever's more comfortable. Let the eyes relax. Release any tension out of the face. Let the tongue hang heavy in the mouth. Release the jaw. Relax the shoulders. Let the arms and hands hang heavy. Release the muscles in the upper back, middle, and lower back. Like any tension slide out of the back body. Relax the waist and hips. Let the legs hang heavy. Let the feet flop and hang heavy. The whole body is relaxed. The whole body can rest. Let the mind and the body enjoy a few moments of peaceful stillness. You can stay right here in Shavasana if you prefer, drifting off to a night's rest. Or if you have to get up and move from the mat to the bedtime, go ahead and bend through the knees, rolling softly onto the right side, cradling the head in the right arm and just resting here on the right for a moment. And then gently pressing the hands into the mat, lifting the upper body, slowly making your way to any sort of seat of your choosing. We'll rest the hands at our thighs or in our laps, at our sides. With the inhale, lifting the arms out and upwards. Exhaling the palms together to heart center. The light in me honors the light in you. It has been an honor to facilitate this practice. I hope you enjoy a peaceful rest. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. Check out the comments section below for more information about our yoga classes, and we'll see you again real soon. Take good care.